A leader leads by example, not by force. In contrast to compulsion or terror, this remark underlines the significance of a leader providing a good example for their followers. A leader who sets a good example for their followers is one who exhibits the attitudes, principles, and work ethic that they want from them. This can encourage and urge others to follow in their footsteps, fostering an organization-wide culture of excellence and common ideals. In the short term, leaders who use force, fear, or intimidation to get things done may see results, but in the long run, this strategy may be harmful to the morale of the workforce, its output, and its overall success. Leaders run the danger of alienating their followers and fueling animosity when they utilize force. A lack of drive and misplaced faith in the boss's skills. A spirit of collaboration, cooperation, and common purpose is fostered by leaders who set a good example for those who follow them. In conclusion, leaders who lead by example are more likely to encourage and inspire their followers to accomplish common goals, whereas leaders who rely on force run the danger of destroying trust and harming relationships. You have to believe in yourself. Success in every area of life, whether it be personal or professional, depends heavily on one's ability to believe in oneself. Self-belief is the cornerstone of confidence, tenacity, and resilience, all of which are necessary traits for accomplishing one's objectives. When you have confidence in yourself, you are more willing to experiment, attempt new things, and keep going despite obstacles and failures. You have the self-assurance to follow your gut and make choices that are consistent with your ideals. Even in trying situations, having self-confidence may help you keep a good view on life, which can be a huge assist in reaching your goals. It's crucial to remember that having self-confidence does not protect you from failure or disappointment. On the road to success, it is normal to encounter setbacks and hurdles, but having self-confidence may assist you to recover and endure in the face of difficulty. In conclusion, self-confidence is a crucial component of success in every effort. You may gain the self-assurance, tenacity, and perseverance required to face obstacles and accomplish your objectives. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak. This remark implies that in some circumstances, it may be useful to conceal one's genuine strength or weakness in order to get the upper hand. The concept is that by making yourself look weaker than you truly are, you may surprise your opponents and lull them into a false feeling of security, while making yourself appear stronger than you really are can terrify your opponents and discourage them from fighting you. This tactic may work in some situations. For instance, looking less interested in a trade than you actually are during negotiations may offer you greater negotiating power. Similar to this, faking to be hurt or exhausted during a sporting event may result in you want your adversaries to underestimate you so that you have a chance to retaliate with renewed zeal. It's crucial to keep in mind, though, that this tactic has the potential to fail and be hazardous. You risk missing out on chances to demonstrate your abilities and accomplish your objectives if you come off as weak when you are truly powerful. On the other hand, if you come off as powerful when you are truly weak, you could incite people to test you and point out your flaws. In conclusion, even if there could be instances where it is useful to look powerful when you are weak and weak when you are strong, it is crucial to approach this tactic cautiously and carefully weigh the possible dangers and rewards. Ultimately, the best strategy for long-term success in forming close bonds with people frequently involves being genuine to oneself and exhibiting honesty and integrity. It also emphasizes the essential significance of development as a fundamental natural rule that controls our life. If he is in superior strength, evade him. If your opponent is temperamental, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. If he is taking his ease, give him no rest. If his forces are united, separate them. If sovereign and subject are in accord, put division between them. Attack him where he is unprepared. Appear where you are not expected. The ancient Chinese military classic, The Art of War, which emphasizes the significance of strategy and tactics in battle, contains a quotation that goes like this. The quotation offers a series of instructions on how to deal with various opponents and circumstances in order to acquire an advantage and prevail. According to the first rule, you should be ready for your opponent if he is safe at all times. This means that you should predict the strengths and weaknesses of your opponent and make plans appropriately. The second rule suggests that you should avoid your opponent if he is stronger than you. This suggests that it may be advisable to avoid direct conflict if you are outmatched, and the third rule suggests that if your opponent has a temper, you should try to annoy him. This implies that if your opponent is easily provoked, you might be able to take advantage of this and gain the upper hand by purposefully setting him off. The fourth piece of advice advises acting vulnerable in case your opponent becomes haughty. In other words, if you can make your opponent think less of you, he can become comfortable and make mistakes that you can take advantage of. The fifth rule suggests that you should not let your adversary relax if he is taking it easy. This implies that you should seize all chances to strike while your opponent is caught off guard or preoccupied. According to the sixth rule, if your opponent's forces are unified, you should try to break them up. This suggests that in order to damage your opponent's position overall, you should aim to foment conflict or division among his ranks. The third piece of advice advises attacking your opponent while he is unprepared and showing up unexpectedly. This implies that you should be unexpected and deliberate in your maneuvers, seizing chances as they present themselves and throwing your adversary off guard. In conclusion, these recommendations provide a set of rules for dealing with various opponents and circumstances in order to obtain an edge and prevail. Although they were developed for military strategy initially, they may be used in other spheres of life as well, including business, sports, and interpersonal interactions. Yet, it's crucial to keep in mind that these principles should be applied intelligently and morally, and that success ultimately depends on more than simply strategy, but also on a person's moral character and integrity. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. This quote from Sun Tzu's The Art of War implies that utilizing strategy and tactics to undermine and destroy the opponent without ever having to engage in battle is the most efficient approach to win a war rather than by engaging in direct conflict. This assertion implies that since direct conflict is expensive, hazardous, and unexpected, it should be avoided wherever feasible. Instead, the emphasis should be on using a mix of diplomatic, economic, and psychological techniques to undermine the enemy's power, resources, and morale. For instance, one can try to cut off the enemy's supply lines, harm its economy, or disseminate false information to weaken its commitment. One can make it more possible for the opponent to concede or surrender without ever having to engage in direct battle by weakening the adversary in these ways. This idea has been used in many contemporary contexts outside of conflict, such as business, politics, and sports. The premise is that one may win and succeed without resorting to aggressiveness or direct confrontation by outsmarting and outwitting one's opponents. In conclusion, subduing the opponent by strategy, tactics, and manipulation is the highest form of warfare. For this, you'll need brains, imagination, and a thorough comprehension of the motives, limitations, and strengths of the opposition. In the end, the objective is to achieve victory while minimizing the cost and danger of war, preserving one's own strength and resources, and maximizing one's own resources.